Mission failed. We'll get 'em next time. even got Lord Voldemort, Harry Potter, all 8 movies. Ready now.
Welcome back to Checking Our Game. I'm going to show you my current multiplayer ranked deck I'm using. This is actually just an upgraded version of the last deck that I showed off. This is kind of, in a way, like the Super Saiyan 3 version of this deck. Like, this is to go even further beyond. I mean, this deck has, like, literally everything in it that you could possibly want. Like, so the last deck was Dark Lord Turbo, obviously, you know, get to 2 warriors into his old into special summoning Shadow Mist, and, you know, just go from there. And then we also had the option to go for Topologic Dumblar Dragon, because we had enough extenders, but this deck does even more. So not only can we get Dark Lord if we only open like 2 warriors just to get into his old, if we get 2 warriors plus 2 extenders, 2 more monsters, then we get to the Gumblar combo that discards 4 cards out of our opponent's hand before they've had a turn. But if we have 2 warriors to go into his ult, and 2 extenders that are both level 3, instead we can end on Heroic Champion Rongo Miniad with 5 materials on it. And here, I'll just scroll down. So if it has 5 materials, it has all of these effects. Can't be destroyed by battle. Gains 1500 attack and defense. Unaffected by other cards' effects. Your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. And once per turn, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Now, I will admit, you don't really use the 5 material effect on this guy all that often, because at the end of your opponent's turn, you have to detach a material, so he will constantly go down by 1 material. However, material effect, which is your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. And because we start this guy on 5 materials, our opponent has to take 2 turns. If they want to put a monster on the field, they just have to set it face down. So the idea is, we get this guy out, our opponent can't play any card. I mean, they can play some traps, they can play some spells, but they can't summon any monsters. And because this guy has 3 materials, as well as 4, I mean, he's unaffected by other cards' effects. So this guy is a 3000 attack monster that can't be destroyed by battle, is unaffected by card effects. Your opponent cannot normal or special summon, and if your opponent has any cards on the field, which they probably won't because you want to be summoning this guy going first, you'll be able to destroy everything they have. So this guy is really, really strong, and the way that we do that is we summon out Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. That's why we need 2 level 3 extenders. So we go 2 warriors into his old, then his old summons out an Armageddon Knight, which dumps a Spectrum Knight, which gets us the Shade Team, which we can then set and summon straight away. Those are 2 level 4 monsters now, which we make Rongo Miniad with. That's 2 materials. Then if we have 2 level 3 monsters, we can make this guy, and what this guy does is, we don't care about the first effect. We can target 1 other number exceeds monster, I control, and attach this card to it as materials, as well as the materials that this card already has. So, 2 materials that we use to make Bamboozling Gossip Shadow go under Rongo Miniad to make him 5 materials. And I'm not going to go too much into the deck otherwise. I mean, this is basically like the Dark Lord Turbo, although it does have the Golden Castle of Stromberg in it, which is one of the more interesting cards that I wasn't using in the other deck. So what this card does is it allows you to summon a monster from your deck once per turn that lists Golden Castle on its card text. You have to give up your normal summon to do this, but it's definitely worth it because this card is, it just equals a result, essentially. So you play this, you summon Iron Hans. Iron Hans then summons out an Iron Knight from your deck, and that's 2 warriors on the board. So if you have the Golden Castle in your hand and 2 extenders, that's either Gumblar combo their 2 level 3 extenders, that's the Royal Dominion. And that's why all of our extenders are level 3 warriors. That's why we're playing Spell Striker, Jump Forward, Crusadia, Art Warrior, and that's why we also have Dragoness as our Instant Fusion Warrior, because it is level 3. It's the only level 3 warrior that is a fusion. So, yeah, we still have a small hero package in here. We're not playing a huge hero deck this time around because we had to fit in Golden Castle. That's why we're playing only one mass change because we'll only make one Dark Lord. Yeah, we're only playing Stratos, Shadow Mist, 2 Malicious, and the 3 Biome to get the Malicious or Shadow Mist into the graveyard. Other than that, it's nothing too interesting. We still got we're only playing 5 equips this time, but I mean that's enough. As long as we can 4 in depth, we can summon this, and as long as we can 3 in depth, we can summon any of our level 3s, which is usually going to be a Phantom Knight. And usually we're going to want 4 in depth to get Shadow Mist, or 4 in depth to get Dark Reaper, or Honor Knight. This card is probably like the central point of the set. We want to keep it as much as possible, and we have 8 cards that get us to this card in our hand. So we have the 3 copies of it, and then we also have 2 copies of it. Very good. Also got a very good summon effect. When it is summoned, we can pop a spell or trap card on our opponent's side of the field. And this can be summoned off of the Golden Castle. And that's a really nice thing that we can do with this card, is because this card stays in play, we can use it once every turn. And usually what happens is we'll summon the Rongo Miniad if we get that far. And then Rongo Miniad makes our opponent not be able to summon monsters, so there's not going to be any threats that are based on monsters. The threats that we're going to have to deal with are like face down trap cards, which then we can then on our next turn summon a Glyph out of the deck, destroy a trap card, and then maybe make a Nightmare Phoenix, destroy another trap card, then a Nightmare Unicorn to get rid of their face down monster if they have one, or get rid of another trap card depending on how many they got. And also Hex Trude is very good. As another thing that we can summon off of the Golden Castle as well. It can destroy any card on the field, and then it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters, which if we've done the Rongo Miniad, then they probably won't have that many monsters, but it's just a good option. It's a nice, strong monster that we can bring off the castle. And then so, yeah, we have the 3 castle, the 3 Blight, the Phantom Bird. We have the 1 terraforming, of course, and then we have 1 set rotation, which allows us to take 2 field spells from our deck and give 1 to ourselves and 1 for our opponent. And that's why we're playing a magical Mythbreaker field, because it's the best field spell that we want to draw if we don't get into the Golden Castle. Because what this does is it makes our monsters untargetable during our main phase 1. So if we happen to draw this, we can put it out. It has to be the very first card that you activate. Don't make that mistake by holding it. So you play this out, make our monsters untargetable, so that means we can't get Event Failure or Infinite Impermanence while we're doing our combo. That's always good. Yeah, if we don't draw it, then we can give it to our opponent with set rotation, and we aren't going to be bothered about not being able to target our opponent's monsters, because hopefully we wouldn't have any. And also, our opponent has to remember to activate this as the very first thing that they do, otherwise they won't. Because of the restriction of set rotation, if they don't do that, then we can't, they can't play another field spell. So that's really good. So yeah, that's the deck right there. I mean, it's pretty strong. It summons out warriors, and depending on how many you summon, it's a pretty broken combo. Other thing I should mention is this card also stops your opponent attacking. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy the attacking monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent will half the attack the monster had on the field. So if you set up a Dark Law with Golden Castle in play, they have to break Golden Castle to be even able to attack over Dark Law to get that off the field. So it just makes things really difficult. And that's why we're not playing Honest Neos in this deck. I just didn't have the room. they just can't attack unless their monster isn't able to be destroyed. So yeah, so that's the deck. It's really fun. Let's just jump.
Look for this in-store display of King's Hawaiian hamburger and hot dog buns for a chance to win a Flavortown-inspired Hawaiian getaway. Can I get another restock on King's Hawaiian bread? Again, everything's better between King's Hawaiian bread.
I have no idea who that is, man. If you're making parody videos of me, then I've done my... And my mind's already working. What if... And everything... Cousin... Worried about tonight, man. A lot of people were wondering what is going on with Karrion Kross. What is going on with his impending doom? His demotion to the main roster. More than likely heading to Monday Night Raw because they don't have much going on that show. And SmackDown has Roman Reigns. So you can't send him to SmackDown because it would do him no good. I don't think anybody going to SmackDown at this stage of their career would do anybody any good. Now, when Samoa Joe was first being teased as the enforcer for William Regal on NXT, a lot of people were predicting he was going to take the championship off of Karrion Kross because he was the only legitimate guy that's come along in NXT in quite some time that looks the part to take the title off Kross. Now, I pushed for Walter over in the United Kingdom. I pushed for Walter because, I mean, let's be real, Walter, he is the most dominating figure in all of WWE that's not named Brock Lesnar. So, when everybody was talking about Samoa Joe, I was excited because we all love Samoa Joe. But Samoa Joe hasn't really done much of anything in the ring for over a year because of nagging injuries and his history with concussions. But I said it then, and I'm going to say it now. I still don't think Kross should lose at all. I don't think he should lose the championship. I don't think Kross and his shoulders should be pinned down to the mat. I don't think Karrion Kross should lose at all before he gets demoted to the main roster. And after tonight, I'm thinking, and I'm like, is that really the best way to go about this entire situation? Samoa Joe, like I told you, I don't think he's the guy to take the title off of Kross. I don't want Kross to lose. The other reason that I don't want Samoa Joe to be the guy is because it exposes NXT for failing to build up anybody else legitimately on the roster that's been there to have a shot at looking the part against Karrion Kross. So it is almost as if Triple H is taking a safe way out and he's going by the means of Samoa Joe to do what he should have been doing and his team should have been doing while Kross was a champion on NXT this entire time. And that is find somebody legitimate enough to take the belt off of Kross without seeking anybody else outside. Let's be real, Samoa Joe is an outsider. Yes, he's NXT, yes, he's WWE, yes, he was a color commentator for Monday Night Raw, but he was from the main roster. He's already seen his day in NXT. That doesn't make me dislike Joe. It makes me dislike WWE's way of building up superstars. It makes me dislike the way that NXT has fallen from 4 or 5 years ago when it was at the top of its game, the number one promotion in all of North America, the way that they did things in presentation and in storytelling. Samoa Joe's not the guy. It's lazy. And like Jacob Donnelly in his super chat, and some people in the chat I'm seeing as well, it's lazy. It's downright laziness. You got your Garganos, you got your Coles, you got your Pete Dunn's, you got your Kyle O'Reillys, you got your Finn Balor's, you got your Santos Escobars. Bronson Reed, he was the only other guy, but nowhere near ready. Nowhere near ready. It's lazy. It's lazy character development. It's the way I look at it. If you don't agree with me, I really don't give a shit. It's just the way it is. Stop making excuses for terrible writing. Stop making excuses for development of characters that should be far along in the process. But like I told you before, it got me thinking. It got me thinking about everything that I had felt about Samoa Joe coming in. Do we really want to see Cross go to the main roster undefeated? Do we really want to see that? And I pose that question to everybody in the chat. Does everybody legitimately want to see Karrion Kross go to the main roster undefeated? If history is any indication about what the main roster does to everybody that Triple H has built up as a legit star, and I watched this and I felt this tonight during Kross's entrance because it might be the last time we see Kross and that entrance on WWE television. All I was saying to myself is, how do you mess that up? Scarlet and the lights and the smoke and the imagery and Kross and everything that he portrays. That whole entrance. How do you mess that up? All you have to do is take it, move it, and place it on Raw. But they won't do that because they didn't create it. Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon didn't create it. They look at Triple H. They look at Triple H and NXT as the outcasts of the company. Oh, you can't be doing that. That's better than what we're doing over here. We can't give you the credit for that, so let's break it down, build it up in what we think is our own image, our better image, and we'll show you that we do it right here, but you don't do it right down in NXT. That's what they do. And Jesse says a lot of things to me throughout the week in regards to the process of WWE and the storylines and what we see on the shows. The one thing that's always stuck with me is what he said about Kross. They're not going to take Kross and his entrance and his portrayal and everything that he is, the complete package that he is, and put it on Monday Night Raw because it'll blow away everybody else that Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard have built on the main roster to be their stars. If Kross comes in and you see that entrance on Monday Night Raw, that's going to be the one thing that you remember when you're sitting in that arena and you go home. What do you remember during a 3-hour show? I remember the hot blonde and the fucking 6'7" guy coming out with the smoke and the light and the fucking, the creepy theme music and all this other shit that he's got going on. That's the one thing you're going to remember. They don't want that to be better than a Drew McIntyre. They don't want that to be better than a Bobby Lashley. They don't want that to be better than a Seth Rollins. They don't want that to be better than a Roman Reigns. That would be the best entrance in all of WWE. They can't have that. They can't have that. So again, I ask the question. Do you really want to see Karrion Kross go to the main roster undefeated? I think it's probably best if he does get defeated because the first thing that WWE is going to do and the first thing that they're going to start writing is who to beat him. And then I'm going to pose the question when he makes his debut in a month or two anyway. Who is the one guy on the main roster that's going to be legitimate enough to beat Karrion Kross? That we want to see beat Karrion Kross. You got your Lashleys, you got your McIntyres. Those guys don't need to beat him. They're made men. So we'll be right back in the same boat, regardless of where this guy is. He'll probably end up giving it to the fucking Miz for all we know. He'll wrestle the Miz on Monday Night Raw, and it'll happen in a fucking fluke moment. Where he'll get rolled up from behind because he got nailed in the face with the drip stick from John Morrison. You don't want to see that now, do you? So it's probably best if he does lose to Samoa Joe if this is the direction that they're going. He may end up losing to Jinder Mahal. He may end up losing to Humberto Carrillo in some fucking bullshit storyline. Oh, look, Humberto somehow got on the right track. He beat Cross after he got buried by Sheamus. Something stupid. Something stupid. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. If Cross needs to lose, I'd rather him now lose in NXT because to bring him to the main roster, it's pretty much the one thing that WWE is going to say, oh, he's undefeated? How do we start writing this guy's demise? How do we start writing this guy's first loss? That's going to be the one thing that WWE is going to focus on because that's what they did with Asuka. That's what they did with Asuka. All they did was bring Asuka to the main roster. They didn't really make a big deal about her undefeated streak. And what happened? They brought her to WrestleMania and then gave her right to Charlotte Flair as if Charlotte Flair needed the undefeated streak of Asuka to look any more boring. Fucking bullshit. So what happens here? He beats Gargano tonight in a decent match. Gargano actually outclassed him and out-wrestled him tonight. But I think the outcome was correct. Johnny Gargano is not the right guy, though. I love Johnny Gargano. He's not the right guy to beat Karrion Kross. It's not. There's nobody on that roster right to beat Kross. There's no right decision except Walter. So this was the right outcome. No way Gargano was going to stand toe-to-toe with Kross and look legitimate. So what do we do here? Number one, it's easy to book Samoa Joe and his return to the ring against Karrion Kross and have him lose Kross. Have Joe take the title at TakeOver, SummerSlam weekend. We don't know if we want that because I told you before, if Kross is going into SummerSlam weekend against Samoa Joe, I think it's lazy booking. I really do. Or the other thing that we could do, and I don't even know what I want at this point because, I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm not going to like any decision that they come up with. If he goes into SummerSlam weekend and loses the title to Joe, yes, it's Joe. We all love Joe. I love Joe. You love Joe. He's the NXT champion. He's back in the ring. How long is he going to remain healthy, number one? And number two, like I told you before, and I've told you about 4 or 5 different times in this live stream already, it's lazy booking. But if he loses the championship to Samoa Joe, that's one option. The other option I would actually probably lean towards, but then I'm worried about him going to the main roster undefeated, is Samoa Joe is not cleared to wrestle yet. And then they just strip him of the NXT championship next week, and goodbye Kross. So that would keep him from being pinned on NXT. He would go to the main roster undefeated, and then he's in the hands of Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon, and Triple H has absolutely no more say on what happens with Kross and Scarlett. Now, if Wrestling 101 serves me correct, in all the years that I've watched wrestling, he put his hands on a management official. He was not provoked, and he actually said that himself tonight. I wasn't provoked, but you brought this on yourself. You brought this on yourself. Samoa Joe was going to walk away. Karrion Kross took it upon himself to do what he did. That was one of the little details. Attention to detail is what I really appreciate with these shows, man. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't get it right at all. Attention to detail. Joe was about to walk away in the main event as the show went off the air, and as he was exiting the ring, Karrion Kross put him in the straitjacket sleeper. So this is all Kross's fault. He put his hands on a management official. He put his hands on the assistant to the general manager, William Regal. And if William Regal has anything to say about it, he's already had an issue with Kross in the past. They may end up stripping him of the NXT championship. Like I said, it's Wrestling 101. It's what I would do. Just to save this guy being beaten by somebody who I don't think is the right guy right now. Just because he's just come back, he was a main roster guy, he's not even really fully ingrained in what's going on in NXT. He seems like an outside option because he was fired. A month and a half ago, this guy was unemployed because WWE opted to get rid of him and bring in fucking Eva Marie. Get rid of him and bring in Jimmy Smith for Monday Night Raw. Adnan Virk, actually. Then they fired him after 7 weeks, only to bring in Jimmy Smith. And then you look like a bunch of fucking retards firing Samoa Joe. He just seems like a lazy option. He does. And my mind's already working. What if Joe beats, if this is the way that they go, what if Joe beats Cross? What if Joe beats Cross? Again, the injuries, the discussion of how long is he going to remain injury-free? Because they've already teased him and Pete Dunne several times backstage. They've already teased him and Adam Cole. How long does he keep the title? Does he drop the title to a Pete Dunne? Does he drop the title to an Adam Cole? Who's going to be on that roster that's going to follow Samoa Joe in the NXT title lineage? They got a couple of options, but not much. Not much at all. WWE is in a very indecisive kind of funk here. They could go one way, it'll be okay. They could go another way, it'll be okay. There's positives and negatives to both choices. But which one is the right one? I feel like this is one of those decisions that is going to be a very 50-50 right down the middle split with the fan base. Because I know a lot of the people watching this show are going to be looking at both of those options and not liking really either one of them as a standout option. There's positives and negatives to both of them. So I don't know what they do here, man. I really don't know what they do here. You know, all I know is Karrion Kross going to the main roster, man. Normally I would be excited about somebody that impressive going to the main roster. And I see a lot of hate for Karrion Kross, which I don't really understand. I see, oh, he's boring. Oh, he's generic. Oh, he puts me to sleep. I mean, have you watched Monday Night Raw? What makes Karrion Kross anything, like what you see on Monday Night Raw to you people? How do you look at that and then not complain about something on Monday Night Raw? This guy's the total package. He doesn't have to be the greatest fucking pro wrestler in the world. He doesn't have to be an Adam Cole. He doesn't have to be a Bret the Hitman Hart. The fuck do you want from the guy? You guys should be in the same camp that I'm in. Don't touch him. Don't change him. Simply take and apply. It's like you're going to a fucking restaurant and the chef is no longer working there, but he left you a plethora of secrets over his 50-year fucking career. What, are you going to go in and just, on day one, change his fucking world-famous pasta recipe? Why would you do that? What, so that everything after he leaves is fucking subpar? I don't understand the process in this company. You got to do nothing. It's like Triple H is giving you the fucking cheat sheets to the exam. Just go and do it. Cheat. It's like Triple H is a fucking smart geek in class, man. Just cheat off him. He's giving you all the answers. He's giving you the cliff notes. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Out of everything, that's the one thing I'm concerned most about. So I want a main event WrestleMania. Great. So does everybody else. You and everybody else not in WWE. And people that are there begging for an opportunity. Great. Get in line. You want to be WWE champion. Fantastic. Because WWE makes a unbelievable spectacle of their champions, right? They treat the champions with honor and prestige. Just like they did Bobby Lashley last night when they had him pinned clean by Xavier Woods. That's what you want. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm not looking forward to it at all. So we got two options here. Joe and Cross, SummerSlam weekend in Vegas, or wherever the fucking show takes place. God forbid it's in the fucking Capitol Wrestling Center again. Joe versus Cross for the NXT title. Cross loses. He gets demoted. Joe is the champion. Then we get Joe and Dunn or Joe and Cole, whichever way WWE wants to go about it. WWE's probably coming up with plans to keep Adam Cole in NXT because God forbid he goes to the fucking main roster. There's a reason why Joe and Cole have been teased. It's either he wins the championship or they strip him of the title next week or in the next couple of weeks on NXT TV, holding another tournament, which, I say it in theory, yes, it sounds great, but they're already conducting a tournament on TV now. What do? They could strip him and do a fatal four-way. They could strip him and do some sort of fucking gauntlet match, whatever the case may be. Doesn't have to be a tournament. It's either option A or option B. Which one of those options stands out as the best option for you guys here tonight? Let me know what you guys think below. Anything else that happened on this show, man? Not really all that exciting. The breakout tournament starts tonight. We got Brendan Vink, a.k.a. Duke Hudson is his new name. He went against Ikemen Jiro, who I think is incredibly cringe. Wrestles in his fucking jacket. Give me a break. Duke Hudson, he went on to beat Ikemen Jiro tonight. And then we got the women in action. Great match with Dakota Kai and Ember Moon, which saw Xia Li step up and just simply ask for a championship match, as if she walks up to the fucking countertop and is ordering ice cream. Hi, can I have a scoop of soft-serve chocolate, please? That's what they're doing with the NXT Women's Championship, man. It's more than just this occasion. We've seen it happen with Raquel. She did it with Io. She said the same thing to Io. Yes, I want next. It's great. So do I. So does everybody else. So Xia Li is the next in line for the Women's Championship after knocking out Mercedes Martinez. So I guess we now reward people who are headhunters. Not only losers in the WWE, but headhunters as well. It's great. It's great. Then we got Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly continuing. Spare me. I don't want to see it anymore. And Diamond Mine, we finally got word from Malcolm Bivens and Roderick Strong in regards to Diamond Mine. We will talk about all that tonight on the podcast. We got 1,100 people in the chat for an NXT show, man. I'm glad you guys are joining me. This is probably the largest audience that I've had on a Tuesday night. But I guess that's what happens when there's an NXT Championship match on TV with somebody that a lot of us don't want to see ruined in Karrion Kross. So we'll talk about all that, but those are my opening thoughts on what we see with the ending of tonight's show, man. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Hit that thumbs up. We got 341 likes in the chat right now. Being that there's over 1,100 people in the live stream chat right now, let's try for 600 likes. So you guys are already halfway there. More than halfway there. If we can get to 600, I would really, really appreciate it. Make sure you guys do that. For me, it helps out the video and it helps out the podcast as we are live right now on YouTube. Super chats are open. I see you guys getting them on in, and we will hang out with some cold beverages at the end of the show, as always. So get them on in. The super chat line is open. Make sure you guys go check out my Monday Night Raw podcast from last night. It is live on the channel right now. It's on the homepage. So if you guys missed that, we talked about everything going into Money in the Bank. And Bobby Lashley, pretty much made to look like a complete loser last night, was the big story coming out of the show as he loses clean to Xavier Woods. And WWE not really generating any excitement for Money in the Bank, and they're simply banking on fans bringing the energy because it will be the first pay-per-view back live with a full sold-out crowd for a WWE show. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Off the Script from this past weekend, episode 382 is also there. And I'll be live with Jesse tomorrow night for AEW Dynamite. Should be another big Dynamite show. We got the follow-up to Malachi Black, the former Aleister Black in WWE. He is hunting Cody Rhodes down on Dynamite. We got more Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega build heading into Chicago. And all that good stuff coming out of Dynamite. So I will be live with Jesse tomorrow night. So tune in to that. Notifications will go out tomorrow afternoon for that podcast live at 10:05 Eastern tomorrow night. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below if you guys have not done so. Turn on the bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. And tonight's show is sponsored by the great Dr. Squatch, drsquatch.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout to save 20% off, man. I use Dr. Squatch every single day, and I think you guys should as well because it makes a world of a difference, man. It really does. The soaps are fantastic. I absolutely love their shampoo. I've just now started using their deodorant, and I was very skeptical about it, man. I'm very particular with my deodorant. And I started using the Dr. Squatch deodorant, and I said to myself, I could absolutely get used to this, man. So it's another product in the line of Dr. Squatch products that I absolutely love. So go and get yourself some Dr. Squatch. I also got subscription boxes so you guys can get some Dr. Squatch on a bi-monthly basis or however many times you want to get it. You want to get it every month? You could do it. You want to get it every 3 months? You could do it. You want to get it every 6 months? You could do it. You want to order it every week? You could do it. And you could do it and save 20% off every single time you do it by using code SCRIPT. That's drsquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off. Let's start at the top, man. We had a great women's match to open NXT tonight, and it was Ember Moon, who is now without Shotzi Blackheart. Poor Shotzi Blackheart, man. She got demoted to the main roster. She got put on SmackDown, and she had her last name axed. It's not even known as Shotzi Blackheart anymore, man. She is now just Shotzi. As if I'm playing a fucking game of Yahtzee and I end up winning. Shotzi! How stupid. How stupid. You got a powerful name like Shotzi Blackheart, something cool with Shotzi Blackheart, and then you opt to call her up on night one and cut her last name. Only a Vince McMahon edict, man. It's ridiculous. Once he's no longer there, I can't wait for that edict to go away. It's ridiculous. So Ember Moon is all by herself now, which I'm pretty sure she told Shotzi the horrors in private of the main roster. Because Ember Moon's not going to the main roster. No way should she go back, or would she go back, to that fucking torture that they put her through. Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez. We don't know what's going on with these two. They want a tag team title shot, and I don't know when they're going to get it, but we got babyface champions now. Maybe they do that match, and then we get Dakota and Raquel going into TakeOver SummerSlam weekend. I have no idea where they go. The way we seen this match and how great it was, and then the closing sequence of the match with Xia Li, makes me wonder if Raquel Gonzalez is also on WWE's main roster radar. It's just very weird that she comes out of nowhere when we all know she doesn't deserve a championship match and asks for a match, and she gets it. But I guess that's how they're building up Raquel. She accepts all challenges. So this was a great match, man. It went nearly 13 minutes, and the obvious differences between the main roster women and the NXT women, as far as work rate goes, is just off the charts. It really is a world of a difference compared to what they do on the main roster. You usually get if these two women were on the main roster, they probably would have got 2 or 3 minutes tops in the ring. They got 13 minutes here. So Moon started off strong until Kai cut her off, chopped down her offense. Kai went on a little offensive spree of her own, grounded Moon for a short little bit. Moon then came back with some flurry of offense, and there was a slight botch on what I believe was a DDT, if I'm not mistaken, by Ember Moon. That was the only hiccup in the match, so not really anything to really focus on. They quickly recovered, and they were fighting on the outside. Moon flew through the ropes with a beautiful tope suicida, and Dakota Kai blasted the barricade with the back of her head, man. That looked fucking nasty. So just a couple moments after that, a dropkick by Moon from the apron. That knocked Kai down, and we got Moon. She was in control during a commercial break. Kai started to mount a comeback by ramming Moon into the ring post one time and then another time. And Kai was working over Moon. Moon started to make a babyface comeback. She was on fire. She got a 2 count on a delayed springboard crossbody. She almost tripped herself up, but she recovered nicely on the springboard crossbody. She got a 2 count on Kai. Kai started to fight back with some kicks. She pulled Moon off the top rope at one point, and there was a face plant by Kai, and then she used a move that looked like I think it was a reverse DDT, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been something else, but I don't remember what it was. But she grounded Ember Moon. She got a 2 count on Ember. They traded near falls toward the end of this match. Moon was up top. She nailed a super Frankensteiner on Dakota Kai. And then we go to the finish. Kai executed the go-to kick, and That was when Ember Moon was draped over the top rope. Kai went for the cover, and she nailed finishing move and got the easy win here. 1, 2, 3 over Ember Moon. Pinfall victory clean for Dakota Kai. The lights went out all of a sudden, and then out comes Xia Li, and I don't know why. I don't know what Xia Li has done to earn herself a women's championship match. She was all by herself. She didn't have Boa with her. She didn't have her 1,000-year-old grandmother with her either. So Xia Li marches to the ring, walks past Kai, steps right in Gonzalez's face. Xia Li says Gonzalez is in the way of her business. I don't know when that happened, but I'd love to be filled in on this. She's in the way of her business. Gonzalez removes her NXT Women's Championship belt from across her waist, raised it up, and says, "Is this what you want? EC3 and designer coats, is this what you want?" No, she didn't really say that, but she says, "If you want this, I hope you show up on time this time." And Lee nods. She says yes, and we got the match. It's happening next week. It's Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. Don't know why. I don't know what Xia Li has done to really earn this championship match. Yes, she's won a couple of matches, but all it does to me is really expose the lack of contenders in the NXT women's division. Now, NXT is going to be fun. They got a lot of new women in NXT that we have yet to see. We got Gigi Dolan, who was on the show tonight. I believe this was her second appearance. Darby Allin's ex-wife, the former Priscilla Kelly. She was in the Mae Young Classic, I believe, several years ago. We got Cora Jade. They just signed her as well. So there are a couple of women that will be featured on television in the next couple weeks, next couple months that you might not know about because they pulled Shotzi Blackheart, they pulled Tegan Nox, and they pulled Toni Storm. Those are 3 big names from the NXT women's division. They got plenty of backup to replenish that division.